Welcome everyone to the eMedica AKT Pass Guarantee Orientation for the 150-day program for the October 2022 exam. So what we're going to do today, it's a brief chance for you to meet the team. I'll explain how the Pass Guarantee program works, how to submit your daily and weekly tasks, your work throughout the program. And really, I want to start with this message, which was in your welcome pack for those of you that have already received it. For those of you that signed up very recently, it will be on its way to you soon. But that, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And that first step is joining a structured revision program and committing to do the work. Because the curriculum for AKT is so big, sometimes it can seem like overwhelming. You can think, there's no way to conquer it, it's just too much. And that can put you off actually making a start. So well done on taking this first step and trusting our team to help support you. And all you need to focus on now is one step at a time. When that email comes, focus on doing the work in that email. Don't worry about the rest of the program. Don't worry about how am I going to cover. We're going to cover all the key topics in the curriculum. But all you need to do is focus on one step at a time. Okay, you've begun, you're here, you've taken that first step. Now, each day, just stay consistent, do your work. Before you know it, we're here, then here. And when it comes to exam time, you climb the mountain, you look back amazed at how much you've covered and you're ready for the exam. Okay, so, well done on that. So let's start with introduction so you can meet the team. So for those that haven't met me before, my name is Muhibbur Rahman. I'm a portfolio GP based here in Birmingham and Solihull and the medical director of eMedica. I did my GP training in Neath Talbot in South Wales, and I passed my own MRC GP with merit back in 2007. And then I was awarded FRC GP in 2019 for my work in medical education, promoting GP careers and humanitarian medicine. I'm one of the authors of the National Prescribing Safety Assessment. I've also written various study guides and resources for both MRC GP, AKT, CSA, and RCA. I was an examiner for the GMC up until 2020 for the PLAB OSCE exam and also an invigilator, and I continue to examine for Liverpool Medical School for finals and third and fourth year OSCEs. Okay, and then I want to introduce you to Masooda Rahman and Anna Greathead, who are going to be part of the faculty for all of the live sessions, all of the courses and the webinars, and they're two of our most experienced team members in the core eMedica team. So Masooda's Director of E-Learning. Masooda, do you want to say hello? Yeah, we can see you on here.
Okay, sorry, I'm having some trouble with the technology. I just want to say welcome everybody, and this is who I am, and I'm always here lurking in the background waiting to hear from you. If you've got anything that you need support with, just send us an email.
Great. And then Anna is also one of the, as well as being a core member of the eMedica team, she leads a lot of our e-learning in terms of the resources for AKT, and is the main contact in the PGP WhatsApp group in terms of the eMedica admin. But Anna's also going to be faculty at all of the course and webinars. So Anna, do you want to say hello?
Hello. I don't know if you can see me. Okay, there I am. Welcome. I'm looking forward to working with you on this program. Been doing it for many cohorts now, and it's always really intense but good as well. If I could give you three short pieces of advice, I'd say one, commit to the program, as Dr. Rahman has said. It's intense, but it really does work. Get organised, be the sort of person who knows where everything is, have your ducks in a row at all times, because that will really make it a lot easier for yourself. And also the final one is really trust the process. It can feel a bit disheartening at the beginning as you're learning lots of new things, but honestly, it will all start to sink in and it all will come together. And I really look forward to hearing lots of great news from you in a few months' time.
Thanks so much, Anna. And then Kennedy, I'm not sure if Kennedy is joining us today, but I'll just introduce you to Kennedy. So Dr. Kennedy Umej is our AKT mentor. He completed this same program a few cohorts back, and he scored 95% overall, one of the highest scores ever, as well as in the country in that cohort, one of the highest. And he supports the program primarily through the WhatsApp group. So we have a WhatsApp group for each cohort. So there's a WhatsApp group just for those of you in the 150-day program for the October exam. Anna will post a link to it shortly, but also there'll be a link in it when you get the emails for the first couple of days. We can't add you to the WhatsApp group because of data protection. So it's up to you to add yourself if you want to be part of it. Some people, find it really helpful to discuss particularly challenging questions with others. Other people, they like to just do all the work, but they like to, focus on it themselves. But it's there if you want it and you need it. So Kennedy will support and answer questions and queries through that WhatsApp group primarily. Okay. Right. And then other members of the team that you might have had emails from, or you might receive emails for throughout the program that are here to support you. Selina Begum is our general manager. Tuba Jamil, Jubaida Khatun, Rabia Hussein, Mariam Bint Mummin, all core members of our eMedica team. And you'll get various emails and support from them. We're all here to help ensure your success. So that's the team. Let's go through how the program works. So you're on the 150-day program. So what will happen is for the first 4 months, so days 1 to 120 of the program, you'll get an email every other day, and there'll be daily tasks that need to be completed before the next email hits, i.e. you've got 48 hours to do them. But there'll also be weekly tasks, and you've got a week to deal with those, okay? Once you get into the last 30 days of the program, so the last month, days 121 to 150, you will get a daily email, and the workload will intensify, because that last month is where it's all going to come together. So you'll see that first of all, you're getting it every day, not every other day, but there's also a lot more work because we need to just get through everything in that last month and consolidate it, okay? Now, within each email, there'll be a link to a question of the day and some reading that you do alongside that. Online revision, so on weekends, there tends to be 2 online revision. On weekdays, there tends to be 1 until you get to the last month when it intensifies. There'll be some reading. So sometimes that'll be reading from the Oxford Handbook of General Practice, sometimes NICE CKS guidelines, sometimes the stats book. There'll be various learning exercises. And then the weekly tasks tend to be videos or exercises or additional online questions from somewhere else, sometimes RCGP knowledge challenges. But all you've got to do is essentially work through the email. Okay, I'll show you how to do that in a second, but I mentioned the Oxford Handbook of General Practice. The 5th edition is a core text for GP trading. It must be the 5th edition. The 4th edition is so out of date, you will actually do more harm than good learning from there, okay? Now, most of you will already have this because a lot of GP trainings, when they start training, they get this as core. So if you haven't, you've still got time to get it. You can get it from Amazon, so you can get it next day delivery. Okay, so let me show you how the emails look. So what will happen is you'll actually get the first email on Saturday, even though the program starts on Sunday. And that's because there's a little bit of reading that we'll ask you to do in preparation for Sunday, Monday. So I'll just show you that first email in a second. Let me just make that a bit smaller so you can see it. So the first one, there'll be a link to the recording of this session in case anyone wants to watch it back. Okay, there won't be any questions, but there'll be a link to watch it back, and there'll be a link to join the WhatsApp group, and then there'll be some reading to get you started before you prepare. Okay, you'll see there's a reminder of when the next live session is, and at the bottom of every single email, there's a link to this resources page. If you click this, if you, for example, don't have to hand your 150-day timetable, the curriculum guide, you want to see some sample topic reviews, some of the useful links from the pre-course learning, you can access all of these. These are core resources from there. And this same link will be there at the bottom of every email. But after each live session, when we do a full day course, when we do an evening webinar, you'll see additional videos will pop up here, 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 and you'll be able to just from one place, watch everything that you need. Okay. The first actual email with the main work starting is the day 1 email. Okay. So I'll show you what that will look like. And that's going to be on Sunday, and how you work through it. So essentially, this is what the email looks like. And all you do is it just tells you to work through your daily tasks. Okay, so just start at the top. Okay, you've got a welcome exercise, which is specific to this very first email, where we're going to ask you to think about the 5 topics that you fear the most, and you want to be as specific as possible. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to list these, and early on in the program, we're going to get you to start working on these weakest areas. Now, you need to be specific. So there's no point putting ENT, because you can't cover the whole of ENT in a couple of days. It needs to be a specific topic. So it might be Menhirs, for example, or it might be audiograms. You see, something specific you could cover in a couple of days, because we're going to get you to cover. So you start conquering your weaknesses. And every time that you do some work, you need to put the same email that you're going to use throughout the program, so we can make sure we get that data and we can see that you've actually done it. But we can use that to analyze what are your areas of weakness, so that towards the end of the program, we're going to send you each a different targeted revision program. So you'll each have an individual learning plan. There'll be a link again to watch the orientation video, i.e. the video of today, if you want to watch it back. And then on weekends, there's 2 questions of the day and 2 sets of online revision. On a weekday, there'd be one of these. So I'll just give you an example. When you click that, there's a question about gout. Okay, so you're going to put in your email. I'll put the eMedica email. Okay, but it's going to be your email. You read the question, you select an answer. And when you click next, it'll tell you if you got it right or wrong. And then there'll be some reading to do. So you click through and you read the relevant. So you're learning as you go. Okay, so that's the first one. Then you're going to do the next one. And then online revision, you need your eMedica login details for this. So when you click this, okay, now I've already logged in, but you'll have to log in. I'll start at the beginning. Okay, so when I click start, I'm going to do the questions. Okay, I'm going to read the explanations as I go. So there's 20 questions in each batch. When you finish doing all of the work, then there's case cards. It'll tell you which case cards to read. Again, if you haven't got access to them because they're not to hand, they're at home, and you're doing some work at lunchtime, or those of you that have joined recently, they haven't arrived yet, you can access the digital case cards here. Again, you need to log in, but you'll be able to access them on your phone with internet access or a tablet. And so like the first day, we're going to be reading, it tells you which case cards, number 1, number 2. So you're going to revise these, okay? You can see number 1 and number 2. And then once you've done all of that, you click this, you enter your name, you enter your email, again, so that we can make sure that we put it all together. What subject did you do? So for example, that first day, can you see, because you will have done 2, cardiovascular and eyes, you're going to fill in for the first one, cardiovascular. So we're going to find cardiovascular here, and you're going to put your score. When you finish all the questions, when you get to the end, it'll give you a score. Okay, so let's say I scored 50%. And don't worry, when you're working through the program, our questions are hard questions because they're there to stimulate learning. It's really normal to get low scores and not be getting 70, 80%, but to getting 40, 50, 60% throughout almost all of the program. It's right at the end, the last few weeks, when everything will come together, because by that time you've covered the material and we've had all of the taught sessions and you've consolidated your exam technique, and that's when it all comes. So don't worry about your scores. It's not important. What's important is the learning, okay? And then, as I mentioned, on the weekends, there's typically 2. So if you've done a second one, so let's say that was eyes, what did you score for that? So maybe I scored 55% on that, okay? And then on some days, if you're doing work from RCGP, you're going to download the certificate when you finish it, okay? And you're going to upload it here. If you've got any comments, you can put it here. But essentially, after you've done that, you'll submit. I can see that it tells me, and it's got my name there, so I know it's been submitted, okay? As long as you see this page, we've received your work, it's been submitted. So that's done. Now, you've got to get that done, submitted all of your daily tasks. So these are all the daily tasks. They need to be done before the next email hits, okay? i.e. 48 hours from when you get it. The email should arrive around 5 o'clock every morning, okay? Make sure that you've added our email, info@eMedica, to your safe list so that it doesn't get filtered to spam, okay? And then your weekly task is the topic reviews on the subjects that you identified in your welcome exercise. When you've done those, you'll submit those using this form, okay? Again, name, email, and then upload your first one, your second one, and so on, okay? And then submit, all right? And then at the end, you do your reading. This is reading to prepare you for questions that are going to come later on, okay? Again, if you need access to any of the previous resources, your resources page is there. You wanted to get the curriculum guide, you wanted to look at the timetable, you've misplaced it, it's all there for you, okay? So that's how you work through your daily and weekly tasks, all right? Now, it's really important that you track your progress, both to make sure that you are staying on top of everything. So, in your timetable, as you go through things, you've got what's going to happen on which days. And when you've submitted it, you could then sort of just put a little tick next to it or cross it out so you've covered it. But also, if you look at the back of this, there's a little progress tracker. I recommend you put this up on your wall, and then, like each day you're ticking off. Day 1, I've submitted. Okay, done. Day 2, I've submitted. I'm done. Okay, can you see it goes up to 90 because you're going to get an email every other day. You're going to get 90 emails in total with daily and weekly tasks, okay, by the end of the program. So by the time you get to the bottom of this, you think, you know what, I'm nearly a quarter of the way through the program. By the time you get here, you know what, I'm halfway. By the time you get to the last column, you're in that last month and you're almost there. But it's a sense of satisfaction to look back. Similarly, the curriculum checklist, okay? you can access the digital version through that resources page, but there's a printed one in your welcome pack. It's split by clinical subjects. There's also a section for admin and stats. You know, as you do a topic, actually tick it off in this box, because then, you know, when you get towards the end of the program, you look back and like, there's nearly 600 topics in total here. You look back and see, you know what, they're all ticked off. It's going to give you a sense of confidence because you're going to go into the exam feeling really ready. Okay. So, you know, this is a curriculum checklist. You can see there's clinical domains by subject area, there's stats, there's admin. So you'll be able to find it and tick it off as you go. The other thing that we've included in the welcome pack from this cohort onwards is a notebook. Okay. And what we recommend you do is each day, take a page and just make a few bullet points, some of the key learning points from whatever you've done that day. And that way, you know, when you get towards the last month or so, you're going to have covered all of the core topics, but it'll be really easy for you to look back and just read back some of these bullet points. But the process of thinking from what I covered today, what are the 5 or 6 key learning points that I think were really important, and noting them down. That thinking process is going to put it into your long-term memory, but then you've got it all in one book, easy to carry around, easy for you to look over when you get towards the end. Okay. So I've gone through how to complete and submit the work. Make sure, just as a reminder, just make sure that essentially you start at the top of the email. Okay. You work through each of these, do the relevant work. When you've done all of it, then you confirm that you've completed your task and you submit your scores. The weekly task, you see there's a deadline. As long as you submit it before this, it's fine. Okay. And then you go through the reading. And now you're ready for the next email, which will hit in 48 hours time. All right. For the first 4 months. And then the last month, every day. Okay. So if you think, you know what, I've got a clear idea now, that's great. That's really helpful. I know it's going to be hard work, but I'm willing to commit to it. I'm going to do the work and I know I'm going to succeed. Then, you know, thank you very much for joining. I hope it's useful. Welcome to the program. Myself and the team are really looking forward to working with you towards your AKT success. Okay. And remember, everything kicks off. Day 1 of the program is Sunday, but we'll actually send you an email on Saturday with some reading to do to help you for the day 1 questions. Okay. So that you can sort of make the most of this first weekend, if you like. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, and I shall see you soon. Remember, prepare and you will succeed.